Hello guys, welcome to Introduction to Computational Design with Blender. My name is Luis Pacheco. The goal of this series of tutorials is going to be to create procedural and generative modeling with Python nodes. This is in the first chapter. So we're going to be creating some parametric geometry from a set of data structures. What this means is we're going to have a list with a list of lists, and then we're going to be dealing with the content of the list to create geometry. It might sound a little bit more difficult than what it is. I think it's going to make a lot of sense when we get to it. So let's talk a little bit about the pre-requirements. I really suggest you watch a couple of videos in Blender's interface. Uh, Blender has been getting a lot better about it. The interface is much better now than it was a couple years ago. But still, I highly suggest that you at least understand how to change a workspace, how to install an add-on, how to pan, tilt in the 3D view, how to rotate some objects, how to move objects in the 3D view. And really, that's all the prerequisites you need in Blender because we're gonna be really programming the 3D objects, not really interfacing directly with them. So just get a couple videos on Blender's interface. Also, I suggest that you see a couple of basic videos on Python syntax. How do you write Python? How do you write an if statement? If you have a little bit of experience in programming, I think that's enough. If you know anything about programming, I suggest you at least try to watch a couple of the basic videos in Codecademy about Python or something. It's optional. You don't need to. I'll do my best to explain everything as we go on. Hopefully, you can learn programming with these too. Now, this is not guaranteed. So if you get confused while I'm doing the programming, you can ask, or I highly suggest you go and watch a couple tutorials. I think that's going to be very useful. All right. About the series. So we're going to be focusing on computational design. This means we're going to do procedural, we're going to do parametric and generative design mostly. So we're going to be trying to make a design one time, and then by changing the input on the design, this is going to be updated and change the output the way we look at these designs. Um, Hopefully, this can later grow into a more complex project, but we're going to start with the very basics right now, which is dealing with vertices, dealing with faces, with edges, creating basic geometry at the beginning. And as we advance, we're going to start using more tools. So we're going to start using Sverchok, which is an add-on for Blender, and then we're going to move to other tools. Why am I starting with Spreadshock? Because it gives us a nice node to interface with Python called the scripted node, and it's really fast to make a change and get it updated on the 3D view. So this iteration process and this almost instant feedback, I think, is really helpful to create new geometry. So we start with Spreadshock. Later on, hopefully, we'll go to the new geometry nodes. We also have animation nodes. There's a lot of Python, so we're going to be using right now this Python, but hopefully later on we can use the Python API inside Blender to do a couple of cool things. And yeah, mostly we're going to be dealing with programming on this course. And then once you program the basic, you're going to be able to use that geometry to put another layer, for visualization using nice shaders, creating using modifiers inside Blender to make it look cooler, or to give it the shape that you actually want from this basic shape. And okay, let's get started. So first things first, you need a Blender. So make sure you download Blender for blender.org. I'll be posting the link there. I'll be using the Blender 2.93 alpha, which is the newest version of Blender. It's not stable yet, but it should be stable pretty soon. So we're gonna use this one. It's been working well for me, so I think it should be okay. If you have issues, you can use Blender 2.92, which you can download too from here. But if there's something that you don't find, it might be maybe because I'm using a different version. So download Blender, download Sverchok. This is an add-on for Blender, so the link will be posted too. Go to Code, download zip, download it whatever you want, and then go to the folder that you use to download your files, and then extract Blender, but do not extract Sverchok. Right? So let's go into Blender 2.93. We'll fire it up. And okay, so this is not gonna be the first screen you're gonna see. So go to File. Don't go to File. Sorry, I'm gonna do this. File, load factory settings. Oh my God. There you go. So, all right. I'm in the default look of Blender. This is most likely what you're gonna get. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install Spreadshock. So go to Edit, Preferences, Install, travel to your download folder, and find that zip that you downloaded earlier. Install it. Now, once you install it, it's gonna filter all the add-ons here just to Sverchok, which is the most recently installed. So activate it. Takes a while sometimes, and it might come with an error. If it comes with an error, usually restart Blender, try again, remove the add-on, and try it again. Sometimes that happens when you have a previous version installed and you try to update it through here. All right, so we installed this Spreadshock. We're gonna leave it as is, and now we're gonna get this 3D view, like the default 3D view. So the way I like to work is I go to scripting view. I'm gonna duplicate this one, so I'm gonna go first to the scripting, then click the plus sign, duplicate current, and I'm gonna call it parametric. All right, I call it parametric, and then I resize the windows a little bit. Like I said, I suggest you watch a video on dealing with the Blender workspaces. We're gonna leave this one here as the 3D view. Then we're gonna change this one here, the console. We're gonna change it for Spreadshock nodes. Then down here, we're gonna open with this little arrow here and change it to a timeline. And we're gonna leave this as text window. So I'm gonna close this. All right, well, let's get started.